Yes, chosen ones. How's everybody doing? It is 9:08. It is July 12th, and I have a message for y'all today. I'm very excited to share it with y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I hope everyone had a really awesome Saturday and in your killing it life. The message is indifference equals impediment. Subtitle: neutrality leads to royalty. So have you ever noticed that the most successful people in life, if you study them and watch them, it's like they never let something really get to them, or they never really give a damn too much about something, like something that they're being provoked on, perhaps. In other words, they're masters of regulating their own emotions. Have you ever implemented stoicism into your life? Then this is the total message for you, and stick around. And I'm really glad you're here, because I do believe that this can be a very helpful message for those that want to improve in their life and take and level up and take themselves up to just like the next level and the next level and the next level. So I was kind of thinking how, like, when we're being provoked, or enemies are coming against us, or there's like warfare or something that we're supposed to like get mad about, if you just don't, then that thing or that person or that situation or that circumstance has absolutely no power. And this is the other thing. I can't remember exactly where I read this originally, but then I read it in the book I'm reading right now, which I'm almost finished with. It's called How to Declare War on Yourself and Get Your Act Together by Mark Summers. And it's I read in like an excerpt that's like been sticking with me, but it's like the person or the thing or the situation that you perceive as a challenge, as an obstacle, or as a pressing issue in your life, a problem, it's not the thing itself that is creating that illusion. It's rather your thoughts and emotions regarding how you feel about that person, place, or situation or circumstance. Yeah? You following me? Obviously, if there's something coming up and someone's like trying to like physically assault, like, and you're like, well, I have to defend myself now, like that is gonna take some looking into. Like, that's gonna need to be dealt with. But how we choose to think about something, how we choose to feel about something, our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings towards a circumstance, person, or thing, that is what creates the problem itself. It's not the thing or the person that's a problem. It's our thoughts and emotions that create so what if we that create the problem, that create the illusion of a problem. If you're with me still, then this is fantastic, and I'm super glad. We're getting traction onto the point of the message. And what if maybe it was the Neville Goddard book that I read that kind of like talked about this, because this is kind of reminding me of like some of the stuff that I read from his work. So yeah. What if something that does kind of perplex us, something that is a situation that does pose a threat to our livelihood in some form or another, what if instead of experiencing distress and or the opposite of that, which would be like positive emotion, excitement, animation, feeling enthralled. What if instead of literally I'm losing my voice a little bit, which is so interesting. There was a mouse that like scurried by in the kitchen, and I like screamed like a church girl. It was so funny. But that shouldn't like it was kind of funny. What if instead of a high charged emotion, anticipation, passion, excitement, or the opposite, distress, negative thinking patterns, the feeling the need to control an outcome. What if instead of positive or negative, we assumed the state of neutrality? Right? Like, I feel like this is killer message, bro. I'm stoked to be sharing, and thank you so much for being here. I don't think it's going to be very long of a message today, but the other point that I have to share too is like, inspired from the book I'm currently reading, How to Get Your Act Together, How to Declare War on Yourself, How to Get Your Life Act Together by Mark Summers, who's a comedian, by the way, and I think he was like a producer for Nickelodeon or something. He talks about having micro emotions and macro emotions, and being able to identify like, oh, okay, like this is a distressing situation, like from 1 to 10, and he has this like linear scale in the book that's like talking about someone kind of like saying something that offends you, that's like number 1, or like finding offense at something, and then it's like goes up to like 3, 4, and 5, and like I think 7 was like betrayal, and then 10 was losing a loved one. And like these are like, we have micro emotions and macro emotions in life. But what if we were able to just like kind of chill out on level 5 or level like what if we were like a buoyant bob, you know, the little buoyancy things in the ocean? What are those called? What if we could be like that, and nothing really like brought us down too much, and nothing really ever like elevated us too much, but we're just kind of like in this chill zen, like level 5, like not micro emotion too much, not macro emotion too much. And what if we assumed the state of neutrality? Then you're gonna hold your head high like a king or queen, and that leads to royalty. Further, on that point, if we're indifferent and we treat perceived challenges, issues, and obstacles in our life, keyword there being perceived, with neutrality and indifference, then anything coming against you, you'll be the impediment to the thing trying to get you out of your cool, chill, zen, chill as a cucumber vibe. You'll become the impediment to whatever's trying to oppose you. And then you stand your ground like a hardcore motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we could be that neutral? What if we didn't get too excited about something? What if we didn't get too depressed about something? What if we always kept our head level, and that would lead us to royalty? Because the people who are most successful in life, if you watch them and you study them, they don't really let anything get them out of their routine. They don't really let anything get to them, like a comment. It's kind of reverting back to stoicism as well. And there's a lot of talk on that from a lot of the kings that I follow on YouTube and stuff. Like, there's a lot of benefit to the stoicism. And just kind of like number 10, macro emotion, like losing a loved one, obviously that's going to be upsetting. 5, what if you could just kind of like be in this level-headed zen space where you're trained and prepared to handle anything life comes at you, and you're also not going to be like over here on micro emotions feeling anything too little. Like you're right in that balanced level. What if we could be neutral about things all the time? What if we could be indifferent to something really upsetting or something really exciting? It's a safe space to be, and it's a smart way to approach your stepping stones in life. And there's also like totally a couple of quotes that I have. There's like Dwayne Johnson that I said Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, said, be the person that when your feet touch the floor each morning, the devil says, "Aw, shit, they're up." I loved that. I love that so much. And like another point from the book too is like, be the hammer, not the nail. So that's kind of what I was trying to say with, if you're indifferent to anything that comes at you in life and nothing can, it's like here's you, and like here's you, and then like everything trying to come at you be like ricocheting. So you're the impediment, but you're like, there is always going to be some major opposing forces, especially as you level up and receive downloads and crack codes for your financial life, for your physical life, your health, your fitness, and in figuring out what the best foods for you to eat are, because everybody's body is different. So maybe taking out dairy is a breakthrough for you. Know what I'm saying? Like, what if we didn't freak out over everything, and we just like assumed neutrality, and then we became royalty because we're always level-headed, and no one is ever letting, no one's ever controlling your thoughts, emotions, or moods. You're the one who's keeping yourself in check with, okay, is this a micro emotion or a macro emotion? And like kind of having like the punk rock attitude of like, is that all you got? Like being prepared and being trained and being the best version of yourself that you can be. That's another point of the book that I like as well, is like aim for perfection. Like even though that's like, we know that doesn't really exist except for like God, and still like trying to aim for being better and better is gonna get you as close to perfect as possible. And having that like, yeah, is that all you got? Like, you can handle like 5 more reps, or you can handle taking on a coworker shift. And like, the more you're trained and the more you're prepared, the less hard taking on obstacles or taking on surprises in life, which life loves to throw curveballs at us, right? So the more you're trained, mentally resilient, tough, prepared, you're not going to get caught off guard nearly as much as other people who are just kind of letting time coast. Like, are you the person that is embracing every single minute of your day and being as productive as possible? Or, like real talk, like, are you wasting a lot of time on social media or watching TV or hanging out with people that don't even like you, or worrying about whether or not you get enough likes from people who follow you who probably don't even like you? Like, what are you spending your time on? Is it a waste of your time? Because this is the other point of the book that I really appreciate. It's like, like a man, it was like, the quote was kind of something along the lines of like, a man is either building himself to become better and taking the path to provide for himself and or his family, or he's wasting time. It's like most people waste most of their lives sleeping and worrying about what other people think and trying to become something that fits into what society wants them to be. But when we forget about what other people think and what other people want us to be, that's when we can tap into like our destiny, and you can download what it is that you're truly meant to do while you're here on Earth. Because life goes by so quickly. And there's actually a lot of, I didn't mean to hit the pen on the laptop. There's actually a lot of Stoic references in Ecclesiastes and Proverbs, and one in Hebrews that I'm going to share with y'all, and that's basically the vid for tonight. And I hope that this perspective offers like some type of new edge in your life, where it's like, cool, like I hope it brings that new level up in your life and brings good energy. I hope this video is like pumping you up and bringing good energy into your Saturday night. Ecclesiastes 8:8, as no one has power over the wind to contain it, so no one has power over the time of their death. As no one is discharged in time of war, so wickedness will not release those who practice it. We can't we can't control how long we live our lives for here. That's up to God. So having emotions over your actions and your efforts and not your outcomes will lead you to success every time. And that stoicism and that practice of neutrality will keep you safeguarded in times of curveballs or surprises in life. And we all know that's kind of life's forte. In Ecclesiastes 11:6, in the morning sow your seed, and in the evening don't withhold your hand, for you don't know which will prosper, whether this or that, or whether they both will be equally good. So sow your seed, and then relinquish the outcome and the desire for whatever is to happen, and that will be what's best for me. Because that is the universe always doing things for me, working for me, and happening for me. But your control of your action and your effort and releasing any desire of outcome is the safe spot, is the sweet spot. This is a really, I think, niche message that can help a lot of people, and I know it's helping me so far. So thanks for hanging out, and this is what I'll leave y'all with. These last couple of verses. Proverbs 21:21. He who follows after righteousness and kindness finds life, righteousness, and honor. So what I do believe is being said in these verses, specifically Proverbs 21:21, is having a non-attachment to materialistic things or the external influences of whether or not you got the job, whether or not you of your reputation, whether external influences of the car you drive, how much money you make, your net worth. These are all things that society uses to measure an individual's success, but what really makes a person feel good at the end of the day when they hit their head on the pillow? It's that peace of mind of knowing they're a good person who has self-control and respect for themselves and others. Point blank. He who follows after righteousness and kindness finds life, righteousness, and honor. Knowing that you are your own hero, that is success. Knowing that you can make yourself kind of giggle and laugh in a space of solitude, that's success. Feeling peace, the peace of God, and knowing that you are following the compass and your true north, no matter how it looks to others, you know that you're on the right track and that your righteousness and honor, it's like those are the most valued things that we can feel, most valuable sentiments that an individual can express and feel in this life, bruh. Yeah, and this is the last one that I really like too. Proverbs 19:11. The discretion of a man makes him slow to anger. It is his glory to overlook an offense. So remember how I was talking about in the beginning? There's 1 to 10. Micro emotions, macro emotions. And over here is 1 and 2 is an offense or something that you kind of took personally or it rubbed you the wrong way. When we can overlook an offense, it is his glory to overlook an offense. The discretion of a man makes him slow to anger. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's the discretion. If you can practice discretion and practice the same state of neutrality, stoicism, being in that balance, kind of at level 5 of the emotions that we can feel as humans. Because emotions are there to help us. It's data. And sometimes we vilify emotions as humans, oh, we shouldn't be too angry or we shouldn't be too depressed. It's no, those are telling us something for a reason. But however, when we're in a mastery mode of identifying and acknowledging and respecting like how we feel when we feel, the discretion of a man makes him slow to anger. It is his glory to overlook an offense. And so you'll always be a victor and not a victim when you're acknowledging and identifying these micro and macro emotions, and instead of capitalizing on one or the other too much, practicing neutrality, which will lead to royalty. And then this is the last one that for real this time I will leave y'all with. And the more you practice indifference, you will be the impediment to any issue or obstacle or demonic force trying to overcome you and stop your progress. Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, "Never will I leave you, nor will I forsake you."